What's up, ladies and gentlemen? And once again, welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I'm able to bless us all with another stream, including myself, because I love doing this. I had an appointment cancel on me, so here we are with another one. We're gonna break down 5 Miami Dolphin players who may have played their last game with the Miami Dolphins. They could be gone next year. And it's real. So y'all hit that like button on your way in. I know that we're having notification issues, but that happens every so often. We'll make the best of it anyway. All right. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, here, come get it. Yeah. All right, my bad. All right, man. Fans, up to you, Powerhouse TJ. Who do you think is gone? We're about to discuss that. TD, what do you think of Trey Lance? I love him. I love him, man. Great talent. I can name 5 Bills that will be gone. That's what's up, man. You never know. They might end up in Miami. All right, so let's get into it. I'm not gonna spend a lot of your time. I want to get through this so that you all can start to get this stuff on your mind. First of all, something that just came out that was very important for you to know is that the Miami Dolphins are expected to have around $33 million in cap space heading into next year. So I think we have our baseline now that's going to change with acquisitions and releases. So we'll try to keep up with the number. But as of right now, we're expected to have about $33 million in cap space heading into next year. I want to give a special shout out to Fin Fanatic for dropping this article because it got me thinking. That's why I'm going live about it. This is courtesy of Fin Fanatic by Brian Miller, who dropped this. He listed 5 Miami Dolphins who may have played their last game in Miami. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you the source, even though it's not a source, because I'm just giving my opinion on the 5 that he named because I actually agree. And then I want to give my 2 cents on the points of why. Okay. All right, so first and foremost, the number 1 player on the board is none other than Jakeem Grant. We got to go with the big dog first, all right? Jakeem Grant could be released next year. First of all, I always want to talk about the money. Is it really realistic to release Jakeem Grant? All right, here we go. So Jakeem Grant contract next year, he is a cap hit of about $4.75 million, roughly $5 million, okay? Now, if they did cut Jakeem Grant, they would be on the hook for about $1.8 million to pay him. Now, that ain't cool. You don't want to have to pay a guy $1.8 million if you're going to cut him. But let me ask y'all in the comment section, is it worth cutting Jakeem Grant to save $3 million in additional cap space? Please put it in the comment section right now. Is it worth cutting Jakeem Grant just to save $3 million in cap space? All right, we're starting to get some answers flowing in. Yes, no, yes, no. Grant sucks. No, yes, no. Oh, so we have a split fan base, it looks like. Yes, heck yeah. So it's a little split. Someone said, no way. I get that. You know what? I knew that we were going to get that with Jakeem Grant because, number one, it's the fanhood. Grant has been here for a little while now, and we've grown accustomed to his name. He's actually not a big name, not a household name, but for our household, we know him. We know Jakeem Grant. We like what he brings to the table. But one would argue, has it really panned out? On a scale of 1 to 10 in Jakeem Grant's career with Miami, how has he done? How has Jakeem Grant done over his career? That's what should be discussed more so. How has Jakeem Grant done over the span of his career? On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank Jakeem Grant? Where would you rank Jakeem Grant? And this is interactive. That's why I'm asking you guys a lot. I'm asking you all a lot of questions because I really want to get a gauge on how you all feel about it and what you think. All right. Give me a second. I'm pulling up his stats right now. But everybody says a 5 out of 10, 5.5, 2 out of 10, 6, 2 out of 10, 4, 8 out of 10, 6. So roughly he's been about an average player. Average player at best that, you know, can give you flashes here and there or what may have you, right? Jakeem Grant came into this league in 2016, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all give me a second. I'm just pulling up the stats for y'all to see how productive he's been as a Miami Dolphin. Sorry, I had it up, but I don't know what happened. So y'all please bear with me and forgive me for the delay. All right, here we go. It's pulling up now. So this is going to be a money decision if you ask me, okay? Do the Dolphins need to save $3 million? First and foremost, I think the Dolphins need to save every penny that they possibly can. But Jakeem Grant, this is a tricky situation because number one, the biggest knock on Jakeem Grant is whether or not he can stay healthy. He's been riddled with injuries. It seems like quite a bit for his career now. It's starting to add up and pile up. Now, he played a lot of games this season, but he still wasn't able to put a 16-game season together. Now, back in 2016, let me see here. Now, remember, as a rookie, he has 0 receptions, 0 targets. They didn't even give him an opportunity as a rookie. He was just a special teams guy. In 2017, Jakeem Grant had 13 receptions for 203 yards. Just a little, you know, I mean, call it how it is, a little scrub, getting a few touches. You know, that's how they look at it. But he actually showed us flashes when he did touch the ball. I mean, the kid had 15.6 yards per catch. And that was in 16 games. Now, when in the 16 games, he's not a starter, ladies and gentlemen. He was just a guy that came and got plugged in. But it gave you this feeling like every time he came and got plugged in, he gave us a big play. It was like, yeah, man, I like this kid. He deserves reps. But the following year, he only played 10 games. Injury situation. He had 21 receptions, which, you know, was much better. And 268 yards. So you saw the potential in less games. So then he came the next year after that in 2019, which was last year. And again, he only played 10 games, 19 receptions for 164, his lowest average per catch in his entire career. But he's always, once again, been a special teams guy. That's why, you know, he was always going to be on a roster but at this stage in your career, you can no longer hold your hat on being a special teams guy. A lot of times you have a special teams guy that has to improve to end up earning an official roster spot because eventually they got to go get younger with the special teams guy and the talent that they could develop into a potential starter. So did Jakeem Grant end up transitioning from a special teams guy to an actual receiver? In 2020, he played 14 games, 36 receptions, 373 yards. I am here to tell y'all he never made that transition, in my opinion, of course. He never made the official transition from being a sole special teams guy that came and gave you spurts to an actual receiver threat, because that's what it's about. When you bring a guy in that specializes on special teams, he also plays another position, and you're hoping that you can develop him within 4 to 5 years to actually be really good at the position. It's a guy that, thank God you played special teams, but now we're going to use this time to build you. He never really took hold of it. He has the talent, but he also hasn't been able to stay healthy. Jakeem Grant has 2 seasons where he was available for 16 games. And now those were the first 2 seasons. And the last 3 seasons, he's had injuries that he's had to deal with. That doesn't right his ship, but at the same token, playing a guy like that, $5 million. Now, remember, that's about 2.5% of the salary cap. If I project it to be what I think it's going to be, that's about 2.5% of the salary cap. Those numbers add up, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that the Dolphins will do themselves some justice by rewarding him with $1.8 million to walk out of the door, hand him his check for 1.8, and take that $3 million and use that, get better use out of it. get better use out of it. That's what I think the Dolphins should do. Go ahead and take the cap space, because you also have to understand this. If we do go out to get weapons, right? Say we do go get Tua Tagovailoa some weapons. Say you get one in free agency and one in the draft, and it's a really good pick. That's two new guys that you expect to be impactful. Add Devontae Parker. Add Albert Wilson, whose contract is guaranteed. Preston Williams is still under contract. Even though we're dealing with the injuries, it's a no-brainer because the salary is so low. And then you have all these other little developmental guys. You don't let go of your developmental talent that you're See, they're in the state, your Bowdens and all of those guys, they're in the stage that Grant was in when he first started. Now it's their turn. You can't hold on to them forever. So I am here to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, although I am one person that actually loves Grant, I like his game. I just wish that he could put it together, or we can just get the right productivity. But I believe his time in Miami may have come to an end. And this is fresh off of them offering him a new deal, because y'all remember he just got paid, right? But what did I tell y'all when he got paid? I said the beautiful thing about this deal is that they were perfect in the guarantee money. It was a 4-year, $19.7 million deal. 4-year. Like, he's under contract to 2023. But the way that they set it up, they only guaranteed $7.5 million. They basically guaranteed this season right here. He got his full this season in 2019. So they used his 2019 salary to mush in some of the cap. So I love what they did. He's only a $1.8 million dead cap if we release him this year, because there's no difference from next year. If you decide to, you still got to pay him 1.2 next year. So the Dolphins may be wise to go ahead and move forward and take their $3 million and tell him we appreciate your service. He still walks out of the door with the $1.8 million check and an opportunity to sign a new deal with the new team. Or the Miami Dolphins can keep him. But at this point, with his production, do you all think he would be overpaid? $5 million roughly a year for the production that we're getting, 200, 300 yards a season? Are you going to pay a receiver $5 million that's giving you injuries and 300 yards a season? Y'all let me know in the comment section, yes or no. Do you pay a guy $5 million a year to give you 300 yards a season with injuries? And the kickoff returning hasn't been very stellar at all. We've actually had moments of what's going on with Grant in the back there returning kicks. So I don't know. This is a decision by Miami because they're the ones who gave him the 4-year deal. They just gave him the 4-year deal, but wisely, Chris Grier structured it so that he wouldn't be held in prison. TD, he take a pay cut. Now that's a different story. We haven't talked about that. But why would a guy want to restructure his deal? So let me give you this example, Chris Sports Talk. Shout out to the homie Chris Sports Talk. If he takes a pay cut, how much are you willing to pay? How much would you be willing to pay Grant right now? If he said, hey, let's restructure a 3-year deal, how much would you be willing to pay? That's the last thing, and we'll move on. Put it in the comment section now. How much would you be willing to pay Grant if he restructured the deal on a 3-year? Y'all let me know, man. He's okay with making $3 million a year. Not over $5 million. Of course, $1 million. $1. Y'all got to stop that mess now. $5K. All right, I'm going to stop it right there then, because y'all, a lot of people say 1 million, 3 million, 2.4 million. So let me give y'all some facts here. Why would he structure a deal for a 3-year, $9 million? So say 3 million, 3-year, $1.5 million. That's below the league average. That's not possible. See, so y'all see where I'm going with this. Grant's not going to take a deal when he automatically is going to get 1.8 million. Why would he do that? Why would he say restructure my deal to a 2 million per year when you got to give me 1.8 if you cut me anyway, and then I can go sign for someone else, and even at the league minimum I'm making more money? Y'all see my point here? It would make no sense for Grant to want to renegotiate his salary unless he's talking about bringing it from 5 million to 3.5 million and guaranteeing more money. And I don't think we're going to be getting into that type of complexity to be given more guarantees, even if the money is smaller. I don't think so. He's going to take his 1.8, go sign with another team for either the minimum, or another team might be like, you know what, we want to bring you in for 2 million a year. He's going to take it on a 2-year or something. You'll be surprised. There's teams that would take Grant on a 2-year, $7 million deal right now with half of it guaranteed. He's going to bank off of this if they cut him. But at the same token, that's good for him, but it also is good for us because we need to take that money and move on. We got other young talent that we brought in we got to develop. And you can't push them to the side because you're going to be bringing in more weapons for Tua. So that's my take on it, all right? So that's where we are with Jakeem Grant. Like I said, I think that he's out of the door, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2. I want to see if y'all can guess the next person up. Number 2, who do you think is on their way out of the door? You might who do you think? It's on defense. I'll put it like that. All right. It is on defense. Who y'all think? Bobby McCain. Yes, Bobby McCain. Bobby McCain has played well, y'all. This is not a move that has anything to do with his production. Okay, this has nothing to do with Bobby McCain's production. I mean, actually, it does because he's playing great football. But Bobby McCain pretty much has no more guarantees. Next year, Bobby McCain makes $7.1 million, $7,140,000. And the dead cap is only 1.5 million. The Miami Dolphins will be saving about $5,700,000 on Bobby McCain. $5,700,000 on Bobby McCain if they were to release him. TD, why would you want to release Bobby? He's actually done well. I agree. He has done well. But like I said, I want to give Fin Fanatics a lot of credit on this article. They made Brian Miller made a lot of good points on this. He helped me see with Bobby McCain. Here's the deal. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read you what the writer said. Okay, McCain is a reliable and consistent player and one that we rarely hear about. He does his job well enough to not be noticed. In 2020, he started 15 of 16 games with 46 combined tackles, 5 passes defended, and 1 interception. The Dolphins they are hoping that rookie Brandon Jones will pan out, and he has played well this past year. Miami could look to the draft to add another safety, perhaps early. That's what it comes down to, y'all. Brandon Jones was drafted to take that spot regardless. Let's remember that. And he didn't play much, but when he did get an opportunity, Brandon Jones played good football. I can't say that Bobby McCain played football leaps and bounds over Brandon Jones. It's just Bobby McCain was the starter, more familiar. Flores loves him, and he was the guy back there. But there's a reason why you bring in Jones, because eventually you want to go ahead and get cheaper, younger, and replace Bobby McCain. And this is a loaded one, y'all. This is one that can shock us because I see a lot of scenarios where we keep Bobby McCain, and I see a lot of scenarios where we release him. We always start with the money. Releasing him will save the Dolphins $5.6 million of that 7, and we'd only have to pay him 1.4. He's a good player, and many fans obviously want him. Don't want to let him go, but is he worth $7.1 million right now? Y'all let me know in the comment section. at the safety position for somebody who's just doing their job, is he worth $7.1 million? Now, I'm not saying he's not. I'm asking y'all. Is he worth $7.1 million? Somebody said, what about Eric Rowe? We'll get there. I know. Yeah, but is he worth 7.1 million? That's the issue. Because don't forget, this was still his money that he earned in the nickel before Flores even came. Y'all remember that now? This was the money that he earned when he was in the nickel right before Flores came. Don't forget that. All right. So Flores and Greer inherited that contract. This was the first. They inherited that contract. He got that contract, that extension, right before all of the new changes. But I'll be honest, he's not worth 7.1 million. Okay? A guy his caliber of player, you want to try to reach somewhere around 4.7, because he's played good football. It's not easy to just find guys, okay? He's played good football, but you're just south of about 5 million. In my estimation, he's worth about just south of 5 million. Good player, one you love to have on the roster, but 7.1, you're overpaying. Let's add to that, okay? Not only are you overpaying, but you already drafted the guy that you want to develop to be his replacement, who actually has had a good rookie stint, hasn't had as many snaps, but when they did put him in, he played good football, and that's what they were grooming him for. And this is the process of what it should be. You're supposed to bring in the guys that's going to give you cap relief at a cheaper price and younger with the higher upside potentially. So there's a huge potential that they could release Bobby Mccain, not because he's a bad player and they don't like him, but the money's not adding up. Now, here's why I said there could be a situation where where they don't release him, but they might want to utilize him in the nickel, and his versatility may be worth it to them. But even if you equate his versatility, I still put him around $5 million. Because let's not forget, he earned his money as a nickel slot corner. He was one of the best in the league. If I'm not mistaken, that year he was actually the best in the league at the position. But once again, that's why Nick Needham, an undrafted guy who's going to cost less, is getting better and better. In the meat of this season, Nick Needham shined, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody wants to talk about it. Maybe that last game, he got toasted a bit early in the season, a few little suspect moments. But in the meat of the season, a large portion of the season, Nick Needham played some amazing football. So once again, an undrafted salary versus $7.1 million. And you're developing Nick Needham and he's getting better. This is exactly why Bobby Mccain could be on his way out of the door. So when you think of Grant giving the team back $3 million, you think of Bobby McCain giving the team back $5.6 million. Do you see that alone is $8 million, $8.3 million? No, 8.6, excuse me. Those two alone is $8.6 million. Because this isn't the conversation for, we'll get there in other streams, but it's guys you want to keep too, like Emmanuel Ogbah. Where are we gonna get? We gotta find the money, because we got big things we want to do this offseason. These are decisions that are going to be made, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, let's move forward. But Bobby McCain is number 2 on the list of potentially gone. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. Next up, who do you think we got? Who do y'all think we got next up? Put it in the comment section who you think is next. We're staying on the defense. Who you think is next? Eric Rowe, you right? You tripping, TD. Man, y'all don't get enough of saying I'm tripping, and then whenever things happen, I mean, come on, man. These are logical things that I'm saying, honestly. Eric Rowe is next, all right? So, what do? Eric Rowe. First off, we always look at the money, right? We always look at the money. So, Eric Rowe will count as $5 million against our cap. Now, let's get one thing straight. Eric Rowe plays some good football, too. I know you've seen him get abused by some of the best tight ends in the league, but again, they're the best tight ends in the league. They're the best tight ends in the league, okay? He's made great plays for us. He doesn't allow receivers to get behind him. That's another good thing. Now, that all works in his favor with Brian Flores and his defense. Plus, we all know Brian Flores loves him, even back in New England, right? What isn't working for him is his contract. And the Dolphins are going to want to get younger, y'all, at some point. And even if they didn't cut him this year, they're going to be bringing in a replacement eventually. He's going to count for $5 million against the cap. And we can recover all but $1 million of that. $4 million can come back to us. He only has $1 million left of the guarantee. So this is going to be a draft move here. If the Dolphins draft a safety in the first 2 rounds, that's why Eric Rowe was gone. If they go get a safety in free agency, that could be a good reason why Eric Rowe is gone. That's a sweet $4 million sitting right there. So you got to ask yourself, is he worth the 5? And we have to get younger. We have to get younger. He's 28 years old. Y'all don't forget that. He's 28 years old. Who is his backup right now? Who is his backup right now? And that's my point to it all. I like Eric Rowe. They're going to get a safety in this draft or one that they really love in free agency. Because he has 2 years left on his contract, both years at $5 million. But the Miami Dolphins dead cap, they don't have to worry about. Like, literally, they can save $4 million. Brandon Jones or Noah. That's my point, because if you look at Bobby McCain's situation too, only one of them got a backup, but Brandon Jones is going to take over that spot possibly for Bobby. So Eric Rowe is also one that they're going to consider. They're not done with this defense. I think people need to realize they were never done with this defense, but they knew what they had in Eric Rowe and Bobby McCain to hold it down until they found their future. That's why they draft Brandon Jones, and they're going to probably draft another one and or go in the draft and get someone. So, yeah, Eric Rowe, it's a potential, y'all. So if you really look at that, that can put us almost $13 million in cap space that we got. 12.6 just from those 3 guys. And honestly, I got to be honest with y'all. All 3 of those guys that I named, we can move on. It's not like, oh man, I hate to lose. We can move on though. We can actually move on. We can move on. These guys aren't the guys that make us say, nah, I wouldn't get rid of him when you look at their price tag. So that's our third guy, which is once again Eric Rowe. Let's go on to number 3. Number 3. This is a good one. We're going on the offense now, but before we move, I got a donation. Andre said Isaiah 4 got to go, TD. Don't want to see him. Let's see. We'll see if we get there. All right. Next up, who you think it is? We're going offense. Matt Breida. Matt Breida, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Breida. Why would the Dolphins release Matt Breida? We start with the money. He's on a contract year. Matt Breida, we traded for him in a contract year, and that's when you're supposed to bring in young talent during a contract year, because if they shine, you're the one that signed them. If they don't, you're not on the hook. Still not a bad it wasn't a bad pickup, in my opinion. It wasn't a bad pickup at all. It was not a waste of a draft pick. But Matt Breida has zero guaranteed money. Matter of fact, he is actually an unrestricted free agent as soon as the league fiscal year is over. We don't even have his rights. So he's going to be a free agent, unrestricted. We don't even have his rights. And it's a question of what is his value. He just made $3.3 million this year. Man, you talk about some easy money. He just made $3.3 million this year. Well, Jordan Howard made $5 million. You talk about easy money. I listen, Breida's gone. Unless it's something that they love in him that they want to re-up for a really, really, really cheap deal. Like, he would have to come and be like, I'll play for free, but give me a 3-year deal give me a 3-year, $4 million deal. They may consider it if they like him, but I don't even know if that's the case. It just ain't work out. You got guys that nobody knew about leapfrogged you on the depth chart when you were healthy. His time is done. Shout out to Capellas with the donation. Everybody forgets. We also have 2 second-round picks that we can convert into something special if Greer chooses. So we need no talent to help our QB. Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, a lot of people do forget about those 2 second-rounders, man. We got the assets. We can do whatever we want. We have the assets, ladies and gentlemen. We're good. We're good. Breida had more production. Listen, whether you like Breida or not, let me tell you, his days should be numbered. Why? Because are they going to keep Breida over Ahmed and Gaskins, who both of their salaries don't even equate to Breida's? And then they're probably going to draft or go in free agency and get another running back? You think they're going to sign Breida on a 4-year deal? He's an unrestricted free agent. He can go find a 3-year deal somewhere, a good 2-year deal. Every team has every right at him right now. So Breida, it's looking not good for him, but it ain't looking bad for him. He's an unrestricted free agent. He gets to test the market. Now you get to see what his value is. Whether it's the Dolphins that give him the contract or not, who knows? Andre said, I could do more than Ford for 50% less money. Listen, just like I said, I don't care what he make. Give me league minimum. I'll go out there and put something up. I'll put some numbers up, man. But yes, man, I think they're going to really try to solidify the run game, finish up the old line, get a running back. So Breida's probably the oddball out. He's probably definitely the oddball out. Yeah, I believe it. He ain't the only one, but we'll get there. All right, so let me type this in real quick. Let's move on. Next up, who y'all think it is? Who y'all think is next up for the Miami Dolphins to move on from? Trying to type his name. Yes, Clayton Fedelum. All right. I had to type it right. Flagellum. Flagellum. Yeah. Clayton Flagellum. Okay, whatever. Clayton. Okay. All right. Clayton Fedelum. This is small money. Okay. This is small money. Not small, of course, but it's small money in NFL terms, right? So he made $3.2 million this year, y'all. I want y'all to think about that. Clayton made $3.2 million this year. Now, what did Clayton do? Y'all let me know. What did he do? He had one forced fumble this year. I remember that. Stats say he had 10 tackles. See here. Aside from a fake punt that Fedelum turned into a first down and drive extension, the special teams player missed the first 3 games and then another a, a few weeks later. He was primarily used on special teams. That man just got a free $3 million last year. They have to assess his value. He's overpaid, ladies and gentlemen. I know those are small numbers, but come on, man. There are guys that are putting up, a lot more production, making less. A lot more production, making less. So he was on a 3-year, $8.5 million deal. Here's the rough part. In 2021, he's scheduled to make about $2.5 million and his dead cap of $1 million. If we cut him, we'd only save $1.5 million. We'd only save $1.5 million. But is it worth the savings? Y'all got to let me know in the comment section. Is it worth the savings to take that $1.5 million and move on from him? He hasn't excelled. He was relegated to only special teams, barely got any reps because he didn't turn the corner. And this was a competitive group. I mean, come on. I would actually move on. Unless, at the end of the day, they also have, that's why I say the most important thing is they have to assess his value. If they see an upside and it's more of them of the reason why, then that's a different story. They want to work with him next year and put him in a better position. That's a different story. But listen, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. All right. Now, there's obviously other players that won't be back in Miami next year. These were the most controversial. That's like, so guys like Isaiah Ford and Mack Hollins may be gone because you got all the younger guys like Bowden and guys like that, marrying them on the practice squads and all that. And you're looking to bring in somebody in free agency and the draft with the other guys that you have with Albert Wilson coming back. So Isaiah Ford and Mack Hollins may not make this roster next year, y'all. Isaiah Ford probably won't. They re-signed him, brought him back to Miami. But that's probably it for him. All right. At running back, again, they already released Chandler Cox. So Patrick Laird is probably out of there. Patrick Laird is probably gone. Even the limited time he had this year, they were unhappy with the little fumble and all that little stuff, So they'll probably bring Myles Gaskins and Ahmed back to camp with whoever they potentially draft and whoever they bring in preseason with other undrafted talent to work out. Gaskins and Ahmed deserve an opportunity to be in camp, and their salaries are going to warrant it. I mean, they're like making league minimums, so they'll definitely be in camp. Laird was a nice guy. That's sad. He's a nice guy, but it's a part of the business. It's a part of the business. All right. It's tough, man. But those are the 5 players that may not be back in Miami next year. All right. We talked about it. Bobby McCain, Eric Rowe, Fledgling, Breida, and gosh, who was the first one we talked about? My mind just went blank. Y'all gonna have to help me out. Who is the first one? No, Bobby, Eric Rowe, Fledgling, Breida. Gosh. Grant, thank you. Jakeem Grant. So if you didn't watch the video, make sure you go back and check it out. I give detailed reasons of why those guys may not be back. All right. Now there's another article out. There's another article out that was very interesting to me. It's not the opposite, but it's 5 things that the Miami Dolphins may do that are surprising. And I'm probably gonna make a video on that one too because it was interesting. It was really interesting. All right, and I want to make sure I give the writer credit because some of these guys out here do write some real good logical articles, even if people want to ignore them. Just write their own narrative. So this is TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I will see y'all back real soon. Love y'all. Peace. See you soon.